Okay guys, welcome to this video. We're going to continue from where we left off in the last video. So in the last video, we were able to rig this our character. So now we're going to do a very simple animation. And after that, we'll create a control for this face. Excuse me. Okay. So first, we're going to add a bone. There's a control we're going to add to this feet that ensures that the character's leg stays on the ground. Because what we want to do is that we want this character to squat. So while squatting, first I'm going to assume that this is the ground level. So I want him to squat. So he's going to bend down. I want this to be the ground level. Why is my character moving? Sorry guys, let me bring him down. Oops. Let me move the layer down. All right, so we're assuming that this is the ground level. So what we want is for this character to squat down. So he's going to come down. He's going to fold his legs. Um, he's going to fold his body. So we're going to have him squat and then jump. So we'll have a jump here. So he's going to jump up. Oops. Jump with his legs stretched out and his hands up. So we have this. Then his back. So I'm going to copy this keyframe, copy paste. So his back and then I'll copy this, copy paste, standing. So what we did is squat, jump, back. Okay. Right. So right here we want the hands to be up. So let's see what we have here. So when it's coming down, we want the hands to remain up. Okay guys, so that's just a simple animation we did. Want him to jump up, then he's down. Okay, so guys, what we did is here we squat the character down. Let's get him into a jumping position. So let's have something like this. Okay, so we have this, then we have him up. Okay guys, that's simple animation. Now if we want this to run, because I want this to be faster, so I'm going to highlight all these keyframe. I'm going to hold down Alt on my keyboard and drag them. So you can see that they are all adjusting uniformly instead of moving the keyframes around. So now it's faster. Here I want him to go higher, so I'm going to drag him up, move him up a little. Okay, so let's see what we have. Okay guys, so that's basic animation that we can do. Let's have these hands somewhere here. Okay, so somewhere before he touches the ground, I still want his foot straight. I want this part to be very fast, so I'm going to drag them closer. So let's see. Let's drag this apart a little. I want him to be in flight. I'm not getting what I want concerning these hands. I don't know why. Let's have something like this. Okay guys, so I'm going to hide these bones by clicking Ctrl Shift C on my keyboard so I can see just the character jumping. Okay guys, after we've done that, next thing I want him to do is to okay, I'm going to make some explanation concerning how this um, animation works. So first, if I should select a particular bone, the red channel is the channels that concerns just that bone. So if I select this, so this red channel has rotation, has a position and scale for each of these bones. So as you can see, we had a squat for this particular bone. So if I should go ahead and delete just the red parts, it will affect only this leg, but it will not affect the other parts. So you can see guys, just this bone that was affected. Let me undo that. If I should go ahead and select this bone and delete only the red channel, just this bone will be affected. So you see, okay, so I've deleted that. If I go ahead and delete the white channel, every single bone will be affected. So as you can see guys, so the white keyframes are for the entire bones on this character, while the red channel is just for the particular um, bone that you have selected. As you can see, if no bone is selected, the red channels are gone. Okay. Next thing I want you to know is how each of these channels work. So you can see for each bone has three basic controls. Okay. So if I should select the transform both bone tool, you can see we have the position for each of the bones, so I can change the position of the bone, the x and y axis. Okay, I can change the scale of the bone. So if I increase this by um, scrolling my wheel over this, you can see that the bone scale is increasing. Turn this to, oops, return it to 1. Okay. Next, we can also change the rotation of the angle of the bone. So if I should move this around and see that the bone is rotating. Also, if I should hover my tool on top of the mouse, you can see we have two dots here. The first dot is for the position. The dot at the end of the bone is for scale. Can scale. I can position. And then if I should hover the tool above the bone, you can see that I can just rotate the bone. Okay. So that's it. And each of these three properties I explained have their own channel. So the first channel is for rotation, the second channel is for position, and the third channel is for scaling, guys. Okay. So on the timeline, there are different things we can do to a particular keyframe. Okay, so we can highlight it and move it around. We can change its nature. We can, all right, next we can copy and paste. Let me get to that. We can copy and paste. So I can copy and paste here. So you can see the properties you have here, the bones, the keyframes you have here has both the red and the white channel, because the white channels must exist for the in order for the red channels to function properly. So you have both the red and the white channel. However, the keyframes you have here is just for this particular bones because that was all what we copied. But if we should copy both the red and the white, every single bone property will also be copied to this new position. Alright guys, so that's it. Basically it. And the other things you can do to your bone, to your particular keyframe, you can change its nature. For example, I could if I want this character to continue jumping, I could copy this keyframe and paste it, continue pasting it, and the character will continue jumping. Or I could cycle the last keyframe, like the character jumped from here to here. So I could highlight this, right click, and then I come to cycle. So for the cycle, it's asking me, the absolute is from what point I want my cycle to begin. And the relative is at what point do I want it to end. So right now I want it to start from my first keyframe and end on the 31st keyframe. So now if I should play this back, you see that the character will continue jumping. So that's it guys. If I want it to stop jumping at any point, all I have to do is to add a keyframe. So to add a keyframe, I'll just click on any bone and I'll have keyframes added. So that's it. Jump, jump, and then from here, you see the character stops jumping. Once I delete that, it continues jumping. Okay. The next thing is we have this as a sequencer. We might not be using that. Motion graph, I'm going to skip that for now till we get to animation 2. We have animation 3. Let's check here. Somewhere on day 18, we're going to visit that. And then right now we have our keyframe set at smooth. So each keyframe that I'm adding is going to be a smooth keyframe. Smooth keyframes, they are not linear. That means the keyframe starts easily and then ends easily. In contrast to linear keyframe, there is actually no change in speed between one point to another. The speed from this keyframe to this keyframe is constant. There is no variation. But for smooth, it's there's an ease in and ease out of each of the keyframes that we have here. Right? Maybe when we have set an example, you'll be able to understand that better. Right, guys. So let's do another animation. So I'm going to highlight this and set it back to smooth because I don't want any cycle of the animation. So next thing we want to work on is, let's say we want the character to kick. So what I'm going to do is, at this point, I'm going to have the character maybe raise his hands up, and then he's going to kick. So to do that, we're going to have this. Let's have a ball. So let's create a ball here. So I'm going to select, call this a ball. I'm going to draw a circle. And this is fine. Let's have it be white. Oops. So this is a white ball. So I'm going to have the ball. So somewhere at this point, let's have our ball on the floor. So I'm going to move the ball down. Let me set the origin to center. I'm going to move the ball down. So I want the character to first pick up the ball and then juggle the ball a little. So we're going to have here Let's have the character bend a little. So we have this legs under, and then up you go with the ball. So we have this. Okay, so we're going to have the character juggle the ball. So I'm going to reset this bone, set it back to the initial position. So I'm going to come to bone, say reset bone. Then I'm going to highlight all this bone, come here, come to bone and reset the bone as well. Okay, so that we have the character pick up the ball, pick up, kick it up. Then it's going to go ahead to juggle. So I'm going to move this down, zero, up. So let's see what we have. So each time the legs goes down, I want him to, oops, I want him to squat a little. So I'm going to drag this bone down. Okay, so when it goes up, you can bring the hands down a little. Let's see what we have. Then the hands down a little. Up, down. So this is up, this is down, this is up. So I'm just going to copy this keyframe, copy and paste, so that they are the same. Up, down, up, down. So that I can cycle from here. This is the 82nd frame, and then this is the 88th frame. So I'm going to cycle. Or let me see, is this too fast? So I'm just going to highlight this, hold down my alt and drag it out so that I can space them out a little. Let's see what we have. I want these legs to curve a little. So I can cycle from the 82nd frame to the 96th frame. So I'm going to highlight this, cycle it, and then I'm going to set it to 82 because I want it to cycle just between these 2 points. So we could have this now. I think this is not high enough, so I'm going to drag this up. Bring it down. I'm going to copy this, copy and paste. So that means I have to cycle this again to 82. Okay, so let's see. All right, guys. So at this point, we're going to add a keyframe for our ball. So I'm going to use the transform point to add a keyframe. Now, guys, I want to be able to view the keyframes for both the player and the football at the same time. So I'm going to turn on this um, timeline visibility for the um, player. So you can see we can now view the keyframes for the footballer as well, so that we can be able to time them appropriately. So at the point when this leg goes up, We want this ball to jump. So let's see if that works. So we want the ball to be back here, then up, back here, back up. Okay. Or we could copy this, copy and paste so that we're sure we can cycle them both. Let's see what we have. Okay, so I'm going to delay this a little, just so it looks a little bit realistic. At the middle, I'm going to raise this higher because I want it to look as though the ball down, and I'm going to raise it again. Let's see, so now we're going to cycle between so I'm just doing this to delay the ball movement a little. Hold up, so from here the ball goes up, here it comes back down. And it's beginning to get a little confusing, so let me be sure. So from this point, let's just delete this so we're sure of what we're working on. So from this point, the ball is up, this is down, and this is up. Okay, so that means we can cycle between here and the 80-second frame. So let's see what we have. Okay, but right now you see it's not looking actually like a ball. So from here we could make some adjustment just to the ball. So if it goes up, we want it to delay a little up here. So we're gonna add the keyframe here. So let's see. Same goes here. Here we also want him to delay a little on his feet. So look as though it's the legs that is moving it up. Okay. So we want it to go higher, maybe higher. Okay, so that's it, guys. We've been able to do a little bit of animation for our character. So I'm going to go ahead and save this by pressing Ctrl C, Ctrl S on my keyboard. So we've been able to save this, guys. Next, one I'm going to work on is let's create some rigs for the eyes. Um, or let me end this video here and then continue in another video.